He is one of the most secretive and controversial leaders in the world. He is so fond of debauchery that he has created a group for himself named the Special Pleasure Squad, which entertains him whenever he is in the mood. He is known for his authoritarian rule, unique personality, and reclusive nature. We are talking about North Korean dictator Kim Jong Un. Kim Jong Un's daily routine is a subject of global curiosity. But what does a typical day in the life of a North Korean leader actually look like? Let's see how the supreme leader spends his day. Unlike most world leaders, Kim Jong Un doesn't have a specific walking time. Instead, according to some sources, he has insomnia, which prevents him from getting good sleep at night. I am inclined to believe those sources, as insomnia is often the result of a troubled mind eaten by guilt. Moreover, this unpleasant illness is reinforced by some unhealthy habits like constantly overeating and alcoholism. Knowing how Kim loves eating, drinking, and executing, that diagnosis seems like it's not too far from the truth. According to some Koreans who managed to escape from Kim's regime, Kim has been highly paranoid that he would be assassinated during his sleep. So it's not unreasonable to think we might have severe insomnia. What can I say? Throwing your uncle to a pack of starving dogs and torturing an entire nation does tend to leave a mark on your psyche. Finally, Kim's walking hour depends on the amount of alcohol he consumed the previous night. And oh boy, does Kimmy love his booze. Naturally, starting the day like this makes his entire schedule chaotic, which is awesome for his security, but a true nightmare for everyone else. Breakfast is served. The dear leader is well known for his love of food. Some say that he is forced by the party to overeat so he would look fat, as in North Korean culture. That's a symbol of success and prestige. So, a skinny, healthy-looking dude can never be on the top of the food chain. Thus, Kim has to keep consuming calories in order to appear wealthy in front of his subjects. Unfortunately for Korean propaganda, that's not how physics works. Since Kim Jong Un can't just shoot his weight off from a cannon as he does with most of his other problems, he actually suffers from severe obesity. Some sources claim that the dear leader even developed gout because of his affinity toward unhealthy foods and drinks. That, however, doesn't stop him from gorging on industrial amounts of cheese. If only Kim loved his subjects as much as he loves cheese, then he would actually give some money for their betterment. But instead, this money goes for copious amounts of Emmental. Kim developed a taste for this particular kind of cheese when he studied in Switzerland under a false name. Let's look at the positive side. Though he might have fallen in love with Apoises de Bogania and stunk up the entire Korean peninsula to high heaven with its pungent smell. To compensate for the lack of sleep, Kim Jong Un is well known for drinking a lot of high-quality Brazilian coffee. Some estimates suggest the dear leader spends upwards of $1 million on his beloved coffee annually. Morning exercises? Of course, that's a joke. Can you imagine the 300-pound alcoholic ever lifting anything heavier than a bottle of whiskey? Unlike most other world leaders, Kim looks down on the idea that he could improve. After all, his subjects perceive him as a god, and it's possible he believes them. Still, I am not entirely familiar with all theological questions, but I doubt there is another god out there with diabetes, his blood pressure, several STDs, and even more psychological problems. But hey, I also don't poison my brothers with radioactive agents at foreign airports. So what do I know? To reinforce the belief that he is actually a god, or just because he loves this ultra luxurious and lavish lifestyle, Kim actually has a team of high-class scientists who have the sole mission of prolonging his life as much as possible. I truly hope that's just as true as Koreans believe that their leader never uses the toilet. According to Juche ideology, the Kim family is too pure to use the toilet. Instead, they are so devoted and hardworking to help the Korean people prosper that they burn all their energy. And there is simply no waste. While I highly doubt this superstition, it would certainly explain his bloated figure and inner hatred. I guess we can attribute all of that to him never talking a proper poop. Kim's day after stuffing himself like a Thanksgiving turkey. The dear leader is ready to meet the masses. And by that, I mean he is ready to be main character in a strictly directed scenario which aims to persuade North Korean society that Kim actually cares about them. That, however, is highly unlikely, as about 24% of the annual budget of DPRK is spent on the people who ensure he will stay in power, the military. Another 30% is spent entirely on him and his inner circle. Moreover, while each of his meals is a banquet on its own, his people are well known for eating grass and insects to survive. Still, Kim needs to keep up this charade, and he does it splendidly, smiling, waving, talking group pictures and occasionally kissing a baby. Not really the proletariat's understanding of labor, but would you dare complain if you and your entire family were going to get a one-way ticket to a concentration camp? Still, the dear leader knows very well that he is not so dear to all. That's why he spends millions of dollars on his personal security. He is always surrounded by bodyguards who go through a meticulous selection. They are all weapons experts, highly trained combatants, and martial artists. However, that's not enough to get this honorable position. You also need to be shorter than 5'5", so you won't be taller than the supreme leader. Naturally, Kim doesn't travel by horse but rather by an exceptionally luxurious Mercedes-Benz Maybach S6000. The armed car is worth more than $1.6 million and without a doubt is the most luxurious vehicle in North Korea. Yes, the dear leader has a thing for Western cars. In his garage, there is also a Mercedes S62 worth more than $500,000, an Audi R8, a Range Rover Sport, and a Rolls-Royce Phantom. So take that, you capitalist swine. If you think that Kim is paranoid about having a target on his back, you are not too far out of line. The North Korean leader travels by 3 identical planes. IL-62 based on the few photos spread through state-run media. The interior of these planes can easily exceed $1 million each. Still, nothing beats his 200-foot-long yacht. Dennis Rodman, one of the dear leader's high-profile friends, compared the vessel to a cross between a ferry and a Disney cruise ship. So you can imagine what's on board this ultra-luxurious marine gem. Actual work running a country is not all pageantry. So the dear leader has to make some decisions on how to lead. Typically, his advisor take care of most things, but Kim has the final word. He is infamous for his death sentences. The UN has counted more than 340 executions since Kim took power from his father, and those are only the ones with official sentences. Another favorite topic of the dear leaders is the country's nuclear program. Although placed under sanctions, the DPRK still continues to test missiles. No one really knows who supplies him with the needed parts. After work, after a long day of being a thorn in the world's butt, Kim finally gets home. And let me tell you, he doesn't live in an adobe cottage on the outskirts of Samjeon. Instead, Kim lives in 20 ultra-luxurious palaces all across the country. His primary residence, however, is Ryongseong. The 4.6 square mile large palace has everything one could desire. The interior is kept secret for security reasons, of course, and not because it's just as expensive as the entire city of Pyongyang. Still, some defectors who worked in the palace claim that the inside of the palace can only be described as mesmerizing. It has an Olympic-sized swimming pool that rarely gets used by Kim, a shooting range where, from time to time, the targets are not as inanimate as they should be, and a massive private cinema where Kim likes to watch NBA games. Take that. America night, that's when Kim can actually kick back and relax while enjoying his lovely wife and kids. Instead, the dear leader actually spends his night partying, wasting hundreds of millions of dollars on pleasures like food, booze, and women. Can you picture this guy with a funny hairdo being a womanizer? Of course, you can't. That's why he relies on sex slaves. Okay, they are not literally sex slaves, although they doesn't actually have a choice. But still, once the dear leader discards them, they are allowed to marry a high-ranking official, ensuring them a comfortable life with some amenities not everyone in North Korea can enjoy. Still, To the broader North Korean public, Kim Jong Un is a modest family man with a beautiful wife and 3 children. His wife Ri Sol-ju is actually quite charming and recently starting showing up more beside the dear leader at various events. Coincidentally, that somehow correspondent with the time the fake Western news, who always try to tarnish Kim's reputation for no reason, started insinuating that he spends most of his nights gorging on expensive foods, drinking excessively, and partying on his private pleasure island. Our sources claim that the Kim administration spends over $30 million annually on expensive alcohol, his poison of choice being champagne, wine, and whiskey. Unfortunately for the supreme leader, the ban on luxury goods on North Korea means that you have violated Kim Jong-un's words and his orders. What do you think about Kim Jong-un's daily routine? Let us know your opinion in the comment section. Please like the video and don't forget to subscribe our channel for more such videos. See you soon with a brand new video. Till then, bye bye.